Assassin's Creed is the multi-billion-dollar, once-annual franchise from Ubisoft which depicts the centuries-long struggle between the Order of Assassins and the Templars. Launching on PS3 and Xbox 360 in 2007, Assassin's Creed has produced 11 mainline titles, 11 spin-offs or story expansions, 1 live-action movie, 3 short films, and over 20 comics or novels, with no end to the franchise in sight. In light of the official announcement of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, we wanted to take a look back through the franchise and pick out our favourites. These are based on personal experience and preference alone, and do not necessarily reflect critical or commercial success. Welcome to Game Gentleman. In this list we give you our top 5 Assassin's Creed games. Number 5. Assassin's Creed Rogue. The last Assassin's game to come to the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 in 2014, Assassin's Creed Rogue is often overlooked when compared to the much more critically and commercially successful Black Flag. Rogue flips the formula while not straying too far from core gameplay by putting players in the shoes of assassin turned Templar Shay Patrick Cormac, and is set between the events of Black Flag and Assassin's Creed 3, with the game's final mission being the prologue to Assassin's Creed Unity, which released to then next-gen consoles PS4 and Xbox One the same year. Rogue would receive a remaster on the PS4 and Xbox One in 2018. The story sees our game protagonist become disillusioned with the Brotherhood when a mission to recover a precursor artifact in Lisbon triggers a catastrophic earthquake. When Shay discovers that the assassins intend to try and recover another such artifact, despite the risk of repeating the same mistakes, he tries to steal the manuscript with the location and is caught by his brothers, shot and left for dead while trying to escape. We see Shay work his way from being a vigilante on the streets of New York to becoming a senior member of the Templar Order, assassinating his former brothers. The game brings back Assassin's Creed 3 favourites Adewale and Haytham Kenway, and saw players exploring land and sea in New York, the Appalachian River Valley, and the North Atlantic. The game made tweaks to naval and hand-to-hand combat, with the latter incorporating more of an Arkham style of gameplay, allowing the player to counter enemy attacks. The game also introduced us to new assassin enemy types to reflect the narrative. These enemies could use all of the typical skills the player had used in previous titles, including hiding, blending in crowds, and ambushing the player with air assassinations. While many criticised the title for not innovating much on Black Flag, for me, the story and the logic makes it stand out more. It makes more sense to me that a trainee assassin turned Templar would have the kind of skills that the gameplay gives players, as opposed to a pirate who found his assassin gear on a dead man and ultimately stumbled into the Order. Number 4. Assassin's Creed 2. Assassin's Creed 2 is the title which truly put the franchise on the map, taking the solid premise of the original, reinforcing the free-running, stealth and combat mechanics, while also improving on gameplay and mission variety, which was criticised in the original. Launched in 2009, Assassin's Creed 2 sets players in the heart of Renaissance Italy in the late 15th and early 16th century. Players are introduced to protagonist Ezio Auditore di Firenze and play through his origins as a charismatic young man through to his ascendance into the Assassin Brotherhood. Assassin's Creed 2 would include historical figures such as Leonardo da Vinci, Niccolò Machiavelli, the Medici family, and Rodrigo Borgia, otherwise known as Pope Alexander VI. Players would explore regions of Tuscany, Venice and Rome, and Assassin's Creed 2 would serve as the starting point of the fan favourite Ezio trilogy. I love this game personally for the nostalgia it gives me. I played this game on a friend's borrowed PS3 and it was my introduction to the franchise. It would actually be a number of years before I played the original. Like all Assassin's Creed title, this game is not without its flaws, and don't get me started on tracking down those 100 feathers. Number 3. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Released in 2010, Brotherhood was the third game in the series and a direct sequel to 2009's Assassin's Creed 2. Picking up where we left off, we return to Ezio's home of Monteregione, and we are quickly confronted by Cesare Borgia, son of Rodrigo Borgia, the antagonist from the previous game. After losing the apple, Ezio travels to Rome to find a weakened assassin's order, failing to fight the Templars' corruption. It is up to Ezio to build the assassins back up to their former glory, sabotage the Borgias and the Templar Order, and recover the apple. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood once again iterated and improved on its predecessor, revising combat systems, enemy types and traversal, as well as introducing new weapons and tools such as parachutes, poison darts, and a crossbow. One of the biggest innovations to Brotherhood was the ability to recruit and train new assassins to help Ezio on his quest. The game allowed players to manage their assassins by sending them on missions across Europe or calling them into battle. Each of the recruits had their own progression, with additional weapons and appearance options being unlocked as you progress, but players also had to be wary of their recruits in conflict, as permadeath meant that if a recruit was killed in battle, they were lost for good. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood came at a time where the yearly franchise hadn't grown tired, and to me it was another interesting story, and Renaissance Italy continued to deliver interesting locations and characters to interact with. Number 2. Assassin's Creed Origins. Assassin's Creed Origins was the first of the modern format Assassin's Creeds, moving away from the series' action-adventure gameplay and more into an RPG-style mechanic akin to The Witcher 3 or Horizon Zero Dawn. This was also the first time since the franchise began that a game was not released on a yearly schedule, with Origins taking 2 years to release after 2015's Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Beyond the leveling and gear mechanics introduced in Origins, gameplay tweaks included a contextualized mechanic for the traditional eagle vision, by introducing a literal eagle, revised combat featuring light and heavy strikes, and arena battles. Players were also pitted against dangerous and highly skilled Phylakes, elite bounty hunters set against the player after a key assassination. Story-wise, players are given control of Bayek, a Magi charged with protecting the Siwa Oasis. Bayek is on a mission of revenge, hunting down 5 masked men responsible for the death of his son. As we progress on Bayek's mission, we uncover more information on the Order of the Ancients and begin to realise that Bayek's targets are just the beginning. Throughout the game, we cross paths with Bayek's wife Aya, who is a badass in her own right and serving Cleopatra during her war for the throne of Egypt. Through the events of the game, we also witness the creation of the Hidden Ones, which would later evolve to the Assassin Brotherhood. I'll admit, I was originally skeptical when I heard this was an Assassin's Creed, which didn't actually feature any assassins, a theme which would repeat itself in both Odyssey and reportedly in Valhalla as well. However, I was looking forward to seeing the new creative direction of the game coming off the back of huge titles like The Witcher and Horizon Zero Dawn, and ultimately the ancient Egypt setting and gameplay mechanics made for a solid entry into the Assassin's Creed franchise. The combat mechanics of light and heavy strikes, roll dodging and pacing your attacks also encouraged me to give Bloodborne another try. Number 1. Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Assassin's Creed Syndicate puts players in the hoods of assassin twins Jacob and Evie Fry. This was the first time that players could not only control multiple protagonists, but also play as a female assassin. Set in Victorian-era London at the tail end of the Industrial Revolution, Templars are effectively running the City of London, pulling the strings behind both the church and the monarchy. Jacob and Evie must take control of the city back by uniting London's neighbourhoods and driving out the rival Blighters gang. Beyond the ability to switch between the game's 2 playable protagonists on the fly, the game also introduces new melee weapons in Brass Knuckles and the Kukuri knife, as well as new traversal options with a grappling hook mechanic allowing players to rappel up buildings with ease and zipline between rooftops, along with drivable carriages and a train which forms the player's base of operation. The Victorian London setting also provides a rich backdrop to the game and allows players to interact with historical figures such as Charles Dickens, Charles Darwin, Karl Marx, Alexander Graham Bell, Florence Nightingale, and Queen Victoria. One particular highlight of the game is when players are brought forward in time. No, not to the present day, but to World War I, where we briefly take control of Jacob Fry's granddaughter Lydia and help Winston Churchill in defending London from an espionage threat. I think the reason this game is my favourite Assassin's Creed title is the combination of an interesting story, likeable protagonists, and solid gameplay, but also because it came a year after I holidayed in London and the Victorian era setting really took a hold of me. The Jack the Ripper DLC was also a great addition to the title, and to date this is the only Assassin's Creed game that I have platinumed. So that's my picks for the top 5 Assassin's Creed games. I do have one small confession to make. I never finished Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I wanted to enjoy the game as I'd really liked Origins, but I just couldn't get into it at the time and felt a little overwhelmed by the fact that it looked like it was going to be a 120 hour plus playthrough. especially when titles like Spider-Man, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and Red Dead Redemption 2 all came out around the same time. With the announcement of Valhalla this week, I am tempted to give it another try. Let me know in the comments below if it's worth the time investment. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to give it a like. And as always, be sure to subscribe to the channel for our latest videos.